Welcome in. We'll get started here. Make sure everything's live and going, Ron.
Welcome, everybody. You can hear me okay, Dan?
Yep, sounds great, man.
All right. Cool. All right. Get your questions, guys, in the chat. Most people are joining us on YouTube. If you guys don't mind in the chat letting us know how many of these you've been to. We've been doing these on YouTube for a few weeks now. So letting us know how many of these you've been to, what's your land experience, where you're from, all that good stuff's good to know.
Yeah, and get your questions. I see Michael already put his question in there. A couple other people throwing theirs in there. Get your guys' questions in the chat as well. We'll get to them. But yeah, let us know your experience. Is this your first time with us? You've been here before? You're coming back for round two? Where are you guys from?
We'll get it. We'll give it a couple more minutes as people get in here. It takes a couple minutes.
Absolutely. Are you pulling up something to share?
Yeah, I'll get my screen up.
And guys, this is going to be like we want to provide as much free value for you in these as possible. So any questions at all, we're not holding anything back. We're sharing exactly what we do, what works for us, what works for our members. So any questions at all, goal is to get you guys more deals or to get you guys a deal if you guys are new, a land flipping deal. So any questions revolving around any of these topics are really, really good. Welcome in, Thomas.
We will give it another minute, guys. Get your questions in the chat. Put your questions down there in the chat. Helps us kind of know the direction. Let us know how long you guys have been joining these, anything like that, where you guys are joining us from. First call, where can I get my first deal? Awesome, Chris.
Nice, Chris. In the right spot.
Like I said, I'm just going to give it another minute, then we'll get started here, Dan.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
All right. We'll get started here as people trickle in here. That's fine. Like I said, get questions in the chat. We'll get to them in the order. If you guys are shooting us a deal, APN, county, state, purchase price, any other info on the property, one deal per person. Most likely that's all the time we'll have today. We do end at 6 p.m. Eastern sharp. We do have a members call following this. But like Daniel said before, we're trying to provide as much value to you guys as possible in any way, whatever questions you guys have, whether you guys are coming from wholesaling, coming from any other industry and interested in land flipping, we're here to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of people joining in, excited to hop in it. Welcome in, guys. Chris, welcome in. Hares, welcome in. Gustavius, welcome in.
Any questions in there yet, Dan?
Let's see here. Does the educational course help with website setup? And do you have a business plan template we can copy? From Michael McGran. Good question, Michael. We try to provide as much in there as possible. It's a blueprint for, steps A to Z on how to build a profitable land flipping business. And yeah, there's things in there about scaling your business, but at first, most of it's about how do we get Michael a deal? What's the quickest path to get Michael a $25,000 profit deal? Because that's the average profit we get per deal. So that's what a lot of the education goes on. And then after that, it's more scaling and implementing new systems and things like that, and really taking your business to the next level. But we want to get you guys deals as quick as possible in that. So a lot of it's revolving, marketing, choosing a county, sending your mail, title, that type of stuff. Everything from A to Z you need to profitably run the businesses in there.
Yep. Good answer. All right. Any other questions, Dan?
Yeah. So Doug asked, if the land doesn't flip as quickly as expected, how do you monetize the property to maintain cash flow to pay mortgage, insurance, property taxes while waiting for the sale to close? So Doug, unlike traditional real estate where you have a loan, you have a mortgage, you have all that stuff, land works a little bit different. So the only thing that you have to pay on an annual basis if you get stuck with land is property tax. Property taxes for land is not like it is for houses. Property tax for land, we have a few $100,000, 40 acres that we're holding right now in Northern Kentucky, and our tax is $150 a year or something like that, $100 a year. So the way we leverage financing in this industry is a little bit different. We're not getting hard money loans. We're not leveraging our houses. We're not leveraging banks. There's something called deal funding that we work with. And that's where essentially people in the community that have money because they've been land flipping for a while, they'll leverage their money out to other people looking for deals, and then you'll come up with a profit split. So all you need, I think it was Doug, all you need is a good deal, bring it to a deal funder. They'll analyze the deal, and pretty much they're using their land knowledge to underwrite the deal instead of collateral, and they'll put up 100% of the money and come up with the profit split. So if you are stuck with the property for 8 months, let's say worst case scenario, which is rare if you're doing things right, you're not going to have anything out of your pocket. The deal funder might have taxes, but usually they handle those in escrow anyway. So there's really nothing wrong in terms of holding cost. The only holding cost is you're losing out on money from the profit that you could be reinvesting into the business and selling and taking the profit and keep it. That's why we like to turn our inventory so quick, is because we want to take that money, put it into more mail, get more deals. That's how the business works best.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of really good questions in here. I'm going to get one more question done, and then we are going to move on to reviewing a deal, and I'll get back to those questions. Chris, and you guys can see this popping up here. Chris asks, he's a newbie. Seen you in a lot of things, Chris, so appreciate you hopping in and educating yourself. Hoping to get started soon. Curious as to thoughts, strategies surrounding neutral letters versus blind offers. Really good question, Chris. And this is something, I mean, we've tested it really, really extensively.
Recently too.
Very recently. Like, it's something, when we test these things, we probably tested 12, 15 months ago. Neutral letters didn't work great. We're testing it again now, and the results are very similar. Neutral letters just are not getting us enough conversations with interested sellers. And my thoughts, Dan, like when you're doing neutral versus blind, for it to be worth it with neutral, you need to be getting 5 times the amount of calls or something around there. And we're just not doing that. Like, we're getting the same amount of calls for neutral letters as we are for blind offers. And the blind offers people, the thing that happens, Chris, with neutral letters is a lot of people who don't want to negotiate don't call you. And they might really want to sell their land, where we send a $50,000 offer, they'll call us right back and we'll close it in a couple of weeks. Like, we are seeing that consistently. Neutral letters are not yielding deals.
They're not yielding. Yeah, they can for sure. We're comparing it when we're comparing these results, just to level out with everyone. When we're comparing these results to our blind offer results. So that's kind of like the threshold is what we're comparing our neutral letters to. And being a neutral letter, you would expect a much higher response rate, kind of like you do with texting. Texting, we teach texting also. You get a 20% response rate. Let's just say 15% response rate. So every 1,000 you're sending out, you're getting 150 responses. Neutral letters, I thought, like, logically that it would have something similar in terms of the results, but it's not getting us that many more calls, and it's getting us much less deals, to be transparent with you guys. They can work. I like neutral letters for hitting the same areas you've already hit to get further conversations. It's a different letter, different style, retargeting tactic, but blind offers is yielding by far still the most deals. And we've sent this, like, I'm saying 20 to, I don't even know how many, thousands and thousands and thousands of sample size to kind of back this philosophy.
I mean, we've sent a lot of neutral letters these last 3 to 4 months, testing it out again, spent a lot of money on it, and we're just not seeing the results, honestly, to keep doing it long term. All right. So we have a deal here, Dan. Jackson County, Alabama. Looks like we have 7.7 acres. This is ID.land for any of you that are not familiar with this software or haven't seen any of our other calls. I do have a pretty detailed, it's called MapRate as well. I do have a pretty detailed video on YouTube, a longer video on YouTube showing how to use this. You guys can see the map outline down here. So this is our land in question. And 7.7 acres. Everything looks good here. And we are under contract, or I'm sorry, this is a member who brought this deal. They're under contract for $16,000, Dan, and change, it looks like. So what we're going to do here is look at contour lines, which essentially is slope. These numbers here are feet above sea level. So 1240, 1260, relatively flat. It's a little bit of left to right downhill, but not a problem there in my mind, Dan.
Not at all. Land looks good.
Floodplain, you can see floodplain over here. No floodplain. We do have some wetlands, and it looks like it's stemming from this little pond here. I don't have a huge concern of that. We have plenty of buildable area here. Maybe this is a little attribute. I don't think so. But it's nothing that is concerning to me. This looks like very solid B+, A- land.
Yeah, a lot of road frontage. Triangle shape isn't the most ideal pizza shape, but this size land in this property, I don't see any concern with it. It's wide enough. The shape's all right. So I really like this land. You got buildings and mobile homes next to it, which is a plus for rural America. People want to be able to do with whatever they can, with whatever they want with the land. So I don't see any issues with this at all. This is very solid. Come down to price on this one, Ron.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
these are the filters we use, guys. We're looking at FEMA flood zones, seeing if they're wet, seeing the wetlands, looking at the slope. This is like a basic due diligence eye test is what we're doing right now for those who are new.
Exactly. So like Daniel said, like we do due diligence first, or we do eye due diligence, fast computer due diligence first, and now you see if the price makes sense. So we're in Jackson County, Alabama. Alabama has very, very big counties. So you need to be specific. Like 7 acres up here is going to be completely different than 7 acres down here. We're down on this southern tip of the county. I'm going to pull up Zillow. And this is how we're going to comp it out. Again, we're buying this for 16,000, or not, we are. It's our members under contract for 16,000. They just want to confirm that the price makes sense. Jackson County, Alabama. And we look for selling something like this for $32,000 to $35,000 at least, and the margins typically will make sense. I kind of like 33 to 35 for something we're buying like this. I think this is going to work out pretty well. You guys can see a 6 acre that just sold. It's a little better land, probably a little kind of farmland type, but 6.5 acres just sold for 72. Wow. Let's see if anything's, so that's a sold comp. I'm going to look at a few more sold comps. These seem too high. This, you can see the water. This is probably a water feature here. 6.3. None of the comps are scaring me, Dan.
No, this is a safe deal. You have A minus land. Price is A plus, I think.
I would guess this would sell low 50s is my kind of guess. Like, I think if you post this up for 51,
what are we in again?
Buy for 16, you're going to be all in for 17.5. I think you can sell this for 49 to 52, somewhere in there.
Yeah. If you need funding on this, definitely reach out to us, because someone else asked that question. Like, this looks good. Someone else, to kind of bring in someone else's question, they said, do you partner with people, and what is the split? Do you partner on deals if brought to you, and what is the split? They asked. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we do. Ron and I do a lot of deal funding is what it's called. It's on our website on landinvestingonline.com. If you have good deals, we'd love to partner with everyone who has good deals for sure, and anyone who works in this industry. But the splits are anywhere from, I've seen 20-80, 25-75, which means the person who finds the deal gets the majority 75, and then it kind of trickles down by time to 50-50 and so on. So, at first 50-50 is very normal. And then as you get more experienced, Ron, you get better rates. You get more experience, you get better deals, you prove yourself, you'll get better rates and cheaper money comes. But yeah, either way, for no risk, guys, no banks, no loans, no credit score, no credit checks, down payments, any of that stuff, it's really, really powerful what deal funding can do, Ron.
Yeah. Bergen County asked, can you guys explain or discuss binder fee, title binder for saving money when reselling? So this is essentially saying, when you buy something, getting a title binder from the title companies because you're going to resell it right away. We don't do these. The main reason we don't do these is because a lot of times buyers are going to have title companies they want to use, attorneys we're going to use. Could we save a couple $100 and probably help try to force them to use our title company? Probably, but that's the main reason we don't. And we just let the buyer choose whatever title company they're paying for closing costs typically. So they should be able to choose the title company they want, or attorney they want. And that's why we kind of do that.
And our margins work for doing that too. Like, it's all right that they want to choose their own title. Like, our margins are good. We're buying, this was buy for 19,000 you said on this last deal, Ron?
17.5.
Buy for 17.5. They'll be in 19 all in all after insurance and everything, and they're selling for mid 50s or so. The numbers work when you do this. But yeah, you can. I know people who do the binder, who do those. What's it called again when you do that?
Binder agreement. It's not binder insurance. I don't remember what it's called. Okay. No, it's not that. That's not the right term.
And Thomas West said, if anyone in here needs funding, he's also here. So Thomas funds deals as well. A lot of the community does. We encourage people to seek options. And yeah, there's a lot of really good deal funders that can help you along the way as well. Thomas is in this every week. He's been a consistent guy, so he knows what he's doing.
Awesome. Yeah, no, he has. I have a deal in Silver Springs Shores, Florida, and I need an offer, but I'm stuck on comps and maybe overthinking. Thanks. Any suggestions? So this is a seller who's interested in selling. What we always try to do is get a price from the seller first. Like, you want to ask them, like, do you have a price you're looking for? Because sometimes it's going to be lower than what you're going to offer. That being said, you need to get these offers out at volume. You cannot 99%. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but when someone's saying they're interested in selling, 99% of the time, that number, the number you give them isn't going to work out. Where it's different, like if we send a blind offer and we have someone close to our number, we can work something out. but you do not want to waste too much time on that. Look at comps like we just did, get a number to them, and then negotiate from there.
Yeah, get a low ball number, start there, and see how they kind of react. If you're wholesaling or double closing, it's a little bit different because you can be $5,000 off. We're buying and selling, so we're buying and flipping the land in our own name using deal funding money typically, and the margins are greater that way. But if the margin starts to shrink down, you start to wholesale. Probably, you can take a $5,000-$10,000 spread on that and potentially make things like that work. It's just a little bit different than our business model.
I had a question clicked and I forgot. Hey, Pete.
When you start, how many counties do you target? Depends how aggressive you want. Like if I restarted right now, I would immediately probably take 3 to 5 on.
Yeah, I think 3 to 5 is a good spot to start, and have your mail planned out for 2 to 3 months, and 3 to 5 counties should give you that, depending on the area. I'm a college student. I don't have much money to begin this. What's the minimum to get into this? I mean, you can start with very little money into this, but the cheapest way to get started if you're doing that is cold calling, where you're going to have essentially your costs are going to be data and skip tracing at that point, Dan. Maybe texting you could add. So, I mean, there you can do it for a couple $100 a month, probably. Cold calling is a great way to get your foot in the door. Like it is a skill that you can learn, especially as a college student. You get 20 cold calls a day. You're going to eventually get a deal. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It might not happen the next day, but eventually you'll get a deal.
Yeah, and you just still got to learn the basics, learn how to comp land, learn how to analyze land like Ron and I were kind of just walking through. Bring your deals to these calls. We'll help you out on them too. But yeah, cool to see college students coming in here and trying to hustle it out. That's awesome. I've seen you in the other calls, SS3.
Is buying from wholesalers and selling land, is buying from wholesalers and selling the land make any sense when you start? Not typically, because wholesalers are trying to make money on the deal as well, and there's going to be such a small margin. And like you saw with land deals, like on that deal that we just went over, like I don't know exactly what their property is going to sell for. And when you get your margins to be thin, like let's say you buy from a wholesaler for 25,000 and you think it can sell for 30, there's stuff that can go wrong where you lose $3,000-$4,000. I just think there's so much more variability in land than houses, in my opinion. And the comps it's just hard to know what something's going to actually sell for.
So if you have a good land flipper or a good land wholesaler who gets it really cheap, there will be times, and we've bought from wholesalers before, there will be times where they just want $8,000 assignment fee to buy. They're buying it for 32. The thing's going to sell for over 80. And they're just like, I just want money to put back into mail and to get a couple of things done. That does happen, but you need relationships for that to happen. You need to be able to trust them that the deal is good and all of that. There are a lot of bad land wholesalers out there that just will send you 20 deals that they haven't done any due diligence on. You just got to be really careful with because they'll tell you the number's 180 grand resale, and it's just completely wrong. So you got to be careful with it. But if you do have a few good wholesalers and land flippers, you can definitely, we've done it a few times. If the deal makes sense, it makes sense.
I mean, there'll be deals that come in our community too. Matt had a couple. We're buying one for Matt right now, Dan, as an assignment fee. And he's making 8,000 and we'll make 20,000. But he gets that 8,000 right away. Or whatever the case turns out to be.
With no work. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a market shift while in the process of buying in that area? Bought 3 properties in an area that now has 7 listings and 11 sold in the last 6 months, watching the market change before our eyes. Is it in a good way? I mean, you have 11 sold in the last 6 months, which isn't bad. If you're saying the market's going down, undercut the market. You should have enough margin if you're doing things the way, I don't know if you're a member or not, but if you're doing things the way we teach things, you need to get it cheap enough so the market dropping 10% shouldn't affect anything. It should just affect your margin a little bit. You're not going to lose money, but try to undercut the market and get your property sold.
Yeah, buy property. Like when those things change, you got to, and it's not right now. Like we're still selling land right now, but when those things start to change, you have to you have to pivot a little bit. You have to buy a little bit cheaper and be more aggressive on the for sale side. Make sure you're listing it properly. Make sure you're on the MLS. Make sure you're on land.com, Facebook Marketplace at a very aggressive price with good marketing, and you won't have an issue. You just got to make sure that you have the margins able to do that.
See if there's any more questions. I'm going to try to get this deal up, Dan.
Great.
And again, if you guys aren't subscribed to our channel right now on YouTube, most of you guys are on YouTube watching this, hit the subscribe channel or button. I think it's right below the video, right below where we can see that. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps kind of spread our channel, spread our mission with land investing, everything like that.
Please do. That would be much appreciated, guys. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate that. Get your guys' questions in there as well. We went through quite a bit. I think there might be a few more. I'm going through them right now, guys.
If we missed your question, if you don't mind just repasting it at the bottom, nothing was intentional in terms. Sometimes they just flow through really fast.
Yeah, someone asked. I just went back. Someone asked the difference on. They said rental properties and this type of business model, Ron, but it's more just traditional real estate versus this business model. And the main thing you'll see, guys, is what we're doing now. We're not investing in land, really. It is called land investing, but we're buying land to flip it for cash. It's a transactional business. It gets you out of your 9-to-5 job. It gets you the financial freedom you're looking for. Then we take the cash and go into real estate. My first real estate property I've ever bought was a commercial salon in Cincinnati in a multifamily apartment above it.
Mhm.
And I think it took that to realize that this business, rental properties, will not get you the freedom you're looking for from a financial perspective. Yes, it's great long-term growth and long-term wealth, and it does a lot of great things. I still buy them, but it doesn't get you that cash flow you need to quit your job, to make that money you want, to retire, or whatever it is. So that's where that comes in, Ron, is it's just, this business model is to make a lot of money, to make a lot of cash. And then what do you do with that cash? You replow it in the business and you keep going on and on and on.
Dale asked, I had to call Dale earlier today. Really good consultation, Dan. Dale asked, what is the average cost of mailings? Typically, it's about 60 cents per mailer, somewhere around there, 60 to 65 cents per mailer. We send a 2-page letter, stamp included, everything like that. So yeah, that's typical.
Yep. And alternatives, like for the guy who was in college at the time, if you guys are looking to save more, texting, cold calling, you can grind a deal in real estate. We had Ryan Pineda, if you guys haven't seen that episode yet, on I think it's coming out tonight, actually.
Yeah, it changes 7. Yep.
7 o'clock. But we had him on, and he said that's one of the coolest things about real estate is you can grind your way. Like, you don't need a past skill. You don't need any previous experience. You can literally come in and grind your way to wealth by just hustle. And that, it's so true. Like, you start other business models that take some skill, top of funnel, advertising, things like that. Real estate, you can come in and really grind your way, educate yourself, be in the calls, send out the marketing, all that stuff, and grind your way to wealth.
Yep. Yeah, that would be a good episode. It comes out on YouTube at 7 p.m. Us with Ryan Pineda, and he's got a really good perspective on it. And maybe someone in here will find that 1,000-acre property he's looking for, Dan. That's who knows? Maybe that college student will find him that, and he'll make $1 million off of that.
Yeah.
All right. So is that I forget whose this was. Let me find this. Joe, was this? Is it these 3, Joe? Or are we missing one? Deal funding criteria, it matters. Donald, we usually typically like to double our money with the deals. We're a little more conservative with people that we aren't community members, to be 100% honest. But that being said, like, we like to double our money. We'll do deals with anyone if the deal makes sense.
And Joe said there's 4 properties, Ron.
All right. Where's the other one?
Is it on the road in the northwest?
Who owns it?
Zoom in a little bit so we can see a little better, Ron.
Here, let me take the question off.
Another 3.36 acres to the east of the top one. Got it.
Okay. East, Larry. Cool. All right. So we have 4 properties here in Arizona. I believe I saw these on the market, Dan. What's the buy price? That's the only, like, are you trying to wholesale this? What's your plan with this? Because I'm pretty sure I saw these on the market. I was just looking here. Yeah.
Is that them?
Yeah.
How much are they up for?
It's right here. $50,000, 40. I'm sure the other one's somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah,
combine the 2.
How long they've been on?
3 points. Yeah, so these 2 are combined. The ones on the north side of the road are combined.
Oh, they just listed. He listed it.
Ew, okay. What questions do you have? You want to see if you're priced right?
Nice. I thought you were trying to buy it from someone who listed it. You listed it yesterday. Very cool.
1 save, 1 day. We look at this quite a bit on Zillow. We just listed it yesterday.
Yeah, on Zillow, we look at the listing. Looks really good, Joe. Nice job on this. You got a lot of money in the game. What are you buying and flipping this, or what's your strategy here? Did you buy this? Listing looks good. Great though, Ron.
Yeah, listing looks really good. So we like to look. I mean, there's a lot of competition in this area. 5 did just sell for 55. 5 for 50. flip. 5 for 50. So you're 5 for 40. I mean, these seem. One thing I don't like to do, Joe, to be 100% honest, is flood the market at the same time. So these two properties are the same thing. People, there's a negotiation tactic from buyers. If they say two things, like you look at for sale and how many are for sale, and it dilutes the market a little bit. I would get one of these off personally, maybe even this one as well. I would probably post two of the five or one of the fives up and then one of the 3.34s instead of posting these together. That's how I probably would, because there are different buyers in that aspect. But postings look good. I would probably have a different front picture. I think, Dan, I like this a little bit. I think this is really cool.
Yeah, that is.
These aerial drones that aren't straight above look a little less like this. Looks like a computer shot almost, which I know it's not. These look really good, but that's the one thing I would do when you have subdivided land like this, and this is the exact same thing. There's not different. Someone calls you up and like they don't like this parcel. Like, okay, I have another one across the road. You can take a look at that too. That's my suggestion. Your price looks good.
Yeah, the reason behind that is, like Ron said, just not to flood the market, and each listing kind of gets diluted that way. And you're going to have the listings going to get more attention, and then you're going to have calls, and you have that conversation with them and tell them about the other opportunities right there too. We do that when we subdivide properties. Joe, did you subdivide this property or did you buy them like this?
I'm assuming about them.
Thought I saw something in there about a subdivide.
Yeah, they're just all already subdivided, I think, is what he was talking about. I'm not 100% sure.
Nice job, Joe. That's awesome stuff.
Troy, do you mind bringing that deal to the members call?
What
How
percentage?
Go on. Go ahead. How often do you mail the same person? If we do well in a county, we'll mail it again about 3 to 6 months later. It depends on the situation. But you can learn a lot by remailing counties. By mailing counties once, we're going to learn things about that market and then target it based on those results.
Yeah, and you can also retarget them through texting also. That's a big strategy. You can do that quicker than the 3 to 6 months also and keep touching them. You can learn a lot from these high-level wholesalers on how much to target these people. And mail is a little different because it's expensive, so you want to wait at least 90 days. But in terms of retouching them, you can retext and do all that stuff as well.
Bergen County asks, I think this is what you're about to read, Dan. What percentage of your sellers have talked about receiving other offers in the mail? I don't really know a percentage, honestly. I don't know.
It's county by county. Some counties, they say it. We still get deals where they say it. That's the thing. We had 3 members, Shelby, Chris, Noel, and I can't remember the third one. And they all sent within 2 weeks, they all sent mail to a county in Georgia, all the same county. Shelby, I thought she only got 1 or 2 deals. She corrected me the other week when I said it. And I think they got 3 deals there. Chris got how many deals there, Ron? Multiple, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they all made $20,000+
They all made, so just because people are mailing it once, like this is, you got to realize, guys, there's 8.5 times the amount of land parcel, vacant land parcel inventory than parcels with structures on them. So any houses or anything like that, with much, much less competition in the market. So if you think it's saturated now, like it's just not. There's too much opportunity. There's counties that are never ever touched. Just change your areas, change your locations, try different things. You guys will get plenty of deals.
Yeah. Gabe asked, what would state legal access to a property through someone else's land? So it can be a plat, it can be on a deed, it can be a recorded easement. There's a lot of things. It's not the easiest thing to dig up. Sometimes a plat or survey are the easiest to kind of see. But that's what you can always dig. Like the thing about legal access, guys. So what Gabe's asking is if your property doesn't have road frontage, there's a dirt road or something going through someone else's and going to your property. Is that legal access? The legal access does not have to be stated on every deed since. It could have been stated in 1920, and that is still legal access, even though it hasn't been stated on every deed since. So it can be a difficult process sometimes to dig it up. More parcels have access than we realize when we're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes a little bit of legal research.
Yeah, it's not the most fun thing. We have transaction coordinators and due diligence people. Eventually you can outsource that type of stuff. But yeah, you just got to go digging really and find them. They're somewhere.
Last question, guys, and then we need to get going. For our members call, members, if you're in here, we have our call on Zoom. That link should have been emailed to you, texted to you. What are your all's thoughts on having 2 options on your mailing? I have a cash option and down payment option. I mean, it's not a bad. I think giving people options like gives you a better chance of closing a deal. Maybe. I don't hate it. I've never tested that, Chris. So I think it's an interesting idea for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you can get creative with this business. You start attacking. Also, you can start attacking like there's so many strategies in land investing as a whole. Like I was talking to one person who's attacking deals 500,000 up, 500 acres plus, and what they're doing, they're sending them mail for seller financing with like a 12% interest. So they're targeting landowners to sell their land under seller financing at a good interest rate to get it. And then what they do, they subdivide it off and then sell the land in chunks and pay off the debt back on. There's so many different strategies in this. It's just, we're just scratching the surface, Ron. But I put a link in there, landinvestingonline.com/free-course. If you guys are interested to learn more on land investing, it's a 45-minute in-depth going over how to choose a county, some other good land investing tips, walks you through the business model. Watch that video. There's a lot of information in it. It's a free course. So if you guys are looking to do this and you want to learn more, I'd head that way.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you log off. We do have a podcast with Ryan Pineda. He's a serial entrepreneur, a huge real estate guy, coming out at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Make sure you guys watch that. If you guys need anything, obviously reach out in Discord. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, guys.